So the reason I decided to do this video is I've been helping a buddy of mine who's learning the minor pentatonic scale, and he's got the pattern memorized because it's pretty straightforward, and there must be thousands of videos out there on minor pentatonic scale and the boxes. So I was trying to find a video out there to send him a link to. They would give him some, kind of show some cool ways to start playing licks within the minor pentatonic scale and not just running through the scale, and also maybe an exercise or two. They could be pretty easy, fairly simple to do for a beginner, and again also might help it to sound cool. One thing I found was it's just like people will show these lessons on how to play through the pentatonic scale, and it just doesn't sound very musical or sound very cool or sound very rock and roll. And I'd hate to be spending so much time playing through that box, basically that box shape of the box 1 minor pentatonic scale, and just have it sound so blah for such a long time. It's just not gratifying. It's not any fun to do. So anyway, started to put this together. Then I thought that that basically I want to show beginners how to do some of these cool things, but I thought, well, I can't really just jump right to that. I want to kind of show how to play some of the more advanced stuff, or basically where you might want to get to if you were looking to play the minor pentatonic scale in a rock and roll context. And so I did the little jam like you saw, and what I tried to do was, I'm going to put up here on the video these key phrasing and techniques, types of things that are typically done within playing this kind of minor pentatonic box, and the cool licks and stuff that go with the rock and roll. So what I want to do is just step through those really quick. For the beginner, please bear with me, and once we get through this piece, I'm going to show you some pretty cool stuff. So and very simple. So I want to go through the rest of it first. So here we go. So we're here in a minor pentatonic scale in the key of A. So there's A on the 5th, starting on the 5th fret. Of course, we know the pattern. Okay, so the key things that are going to make this sound really good, that everybody needs to learn, and these things will benefit you through any style of playing. Doesn't matter whether you're playing clean, distortion, rock and roll, blues, country. I mean, really, palm muting is absolutely essential, and I'm not going to go through and explain how to do all these things in this video. It would take forever, and there's going to be hundreds of videos out there so that you can use as a resource for learning how to palm mute. But basically, palm muting is just what it says, sort of just touching these ends of the strings on the bridge, and I'm just going to demonstrate. So here's a little bit of palm muting. It helps to keep your strings quiet. It helps to give a nice cool sound. So palm muting, very, very important. Alternate picking. Alternate picking is critical. Please do not go through hours and hours and hours and days and weeks and months of playing where you're not doing alternate picking. You've got to learn it early on, and it's going to benefit you greatly. You would not want to have to try to pick through these scales and through these boxes and the different licks that you're going to do with all picking downstrokes. It just doesn't scale. So learn your alternate picking, resolving on the root notes. So I'll just demonstrate this. Again, we're in A, and you should learn that where your root notes are in this pattern. I happen to be in A, so I've got a root right there, I've got a root right there. So this is the 6th string right on the 5th fret. That's why it's easy to know we're in A. And then you've got this one here on the D string on the 7th fret. That's an A. And then, of course, same thing with the E string, the high E string. That's an A. So, resolve to the root notes. This is basically... There we go, we're resolving to an A, and I'm giving it a bunch of vibrato, which happens to be the next point here. Use vibrato, learn vibrato. I mean, hear how much better that sounds than that. So, learn the vibrato. Vibrato is hard on some strings. Hard to do vibrato up here, but it can be done. And there's some nice vibrato. So learn your vibrato. Vibrato also on the ends of your bends, which happens to be the next point, the next bullet point. Learn bends. Bends are going to be critical. They're just essential. Blues, rock and roll. There's so many different types of bends, you know. Here's a full step bend, half step bend, quarter bend, unison bends. There's another unison bend. Those are awesome. So again, we're not going to explain how to do all these things, but learn the bends. Bends are awesome. Slides are amazing. Learn the slides. Slides are going to be just freaking awesome. They're going to help you so much. Double stops. I did some double stops, and I did in that playing. I tried to demonstrate as much of these things as I could, you know, while I was playing. So here's a double stop. There's a double stop, and then a resolve on the root. And double stops, you can find hundreds of videos on what is a double stop and how to learn them. It's just two strings at the same time. That's a real common one in the context of a minor pentatonic jamming. Now there's a bending of a double stop. There's a double stop. Kind of that Johnny Be Good thing. So double stops, awesome. Hammer-ons. There's a hammer-on. I'm hammering on the string. Hundreds of videos out there to teach you how to do the pull-offs. Here's a pull-off. That's pulling off. Simple. You do kind of emphasize. You can kind of claw at it a little bit, sort of pluck it, sort of with this pull-off finger. There's a kind of a combination of a pull-off and a hammer-on. Trills. So there is basically hammer-on, pull-off, sort of I guess I'm doing a trill. So here's another trill. Trills. Pinch harmonics. Of course, you can learn how to do this. Hundreds of videos out there. And it's a matter of, you know, getting some pick and some skin in the game while you're plucking a note. There's a note. Pinch harmonics, awesome. Pick attack. This might be easier to demonstrate with a clean tone. Yeah, but pick attack, it isn't always about picking hard, sometimes soft, sometimes hard. So there's a whole bunch of dynamics, things that you're gonna need to learn for phrasing and technique, and I've left probably plenty out, but that's quite a bit. So, having said all that, hopefully, if you're more of an intermediate player and you've gone this far in the video, maybe I've given you some ideas here, some things to think about, maybe some gaps in things that technique and stuff like that you haven't learned yet, and maybe gives you some ideas. If you're a beginner, this is where I wanted to basically start showing you the minor pentatonic again, and I hope that you were able to bear with me this long. So I'm going to clean up the tone a little bit, just back off the volume. And that old familiar minor pentatonic scale. So if you've learned it, basically you should have learned it by this time. If you are watching this video and you have not learned box 1 shape, you really got to go to the drawing board and really get on that. But here's the pattern. Again, that's the way I see it demonstrated so often, and often with a clean tone. But there's where's the fun in that? I mean, yeah, you gotta learn it. You gotta learn the pattern so you know where those notes are without thinking about it. But what I want to show you is just some simple things. Let me turn that volume back up to get a nice tone here. I want to show you some things that can make it sound good. So here we are. Now I just did a little bit of like ascending and descending. So here's something simple. Notice what I'm doing. I'm just walking up the pattern, up that box, coming down and hitting that A note. Remember, that's our root. That's why it sounds good. Same thing up here. If I can give that some vibrato, I could land on and resolve on that note. And I can walk down and resolve on this A note. See how that works? So think about stopping on those notes. I mean, if I just stop somewhere in the middle of this pattern, it sounds unresolved. Now it's resolved. So this is the next thing I want to show you is don't just play it like this. That sounds fine. Let's go for the bottom. But as an exercise, from the high E string, we're just in this box, the same exact box. We're gonna alternate. We're gonna go down, so what we'll do is we'll play right through the box. So play 3 notes of the box, and then go up 1, and then just keep on cycling through that, like. Easier to play it a little bit faster. We start to get a feel for it. Now notice the last thing I do is I go just below that A, so I can kind of come back up to it. Now notice I'm picking every note, and I should be alternate picking. Just one one of those things I pointed out, critical to get your alternate picking down. Now as you progress, pull-offs and hammer-ons, as we said, are essential. And what you can do here with this one is, now I am going to do a bend here. Okay, so now watch what we'll do. I'll do this same exercise. Do that same exercise, but I'm going to do it much faster with hammer-ons and pull-offs. So what you're going to see is I'm hardly picking any of these notes, but they're happening through hammer-ons and pull-offs. So that's pretty cool. So notice I'm picking this one to get it started, and that was, I only picked it one time. So for 3 notes, 1 pick. So let's do that again. Now that's not beginner, but that's something you want to work toward. But initially, you start to incorporate some pull-offs. Now that's a cool. That's a nice, cool, fun lick to do. So let's take this this exercise. All right. So we're just going to take this same exercise. We can stop and resolve. Again, stopping, resolving on the A notes. Notice I added a little something to it, a little quarter bend. Now I'm starting to mix it up again. I apologize. So notice I resolve on that A. Sounds awesome. Now watch, let's do that again. I tend to like to go beneath and then back up to it. You notice? Now by the way, when we're in A, only one other part of a box that I will show you. You need to eventually learn all the boxes, but I will show you this one real quick. And it's just so simple. Here we are in the A pentatonic, minor pentatonic pattern. But instead of always playing with that pinky, watch this. Notice a little quarter bend coming in there. But the point here, just that little box. It's just an extension. It's basically a piece of box 5. But what it means is I can slide down into that, and it kind of sounds cool. And let's say I want to keep going. See, I will play that like every time versus so you need to learn other boxes. There's going to be an extension that you're going to let's go back up here. That extension. You'll want to learn that extension too, but initially right here in box 1. Oops, I added the blue note. Blue note is cool. Now I added a little bit of a little double stop. So let's go through that pattern again. And then let's walk it down. Sounds pretty cool. And remember, as you progress with this exercise, use the alternate picking. And start to incorporate hammer-ons and pull-offs. Some picking, some hammer-on, some pull-off, just kind of depends. And always the vibrato. We don't want to do something like it's just boring. So hopefully that's been helpful to you. Hopefully this wasn't too scattered and all over the place, or too advanced in the beginning, or what have you. Hopefully you enjoyed it and got something out of it.